I am obligated both to Greeks and non-Greeks, both to the wise and the foolish. That is why I'm so eager to preach the gospel also to you who are in Rome. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes, first to the Jew, then to the Gentile. For in the gospel the righteousness of God is revealed, a righteousness that is by faith from first to last, just as it is written, the righteous will live by faith.
This power of God to salvation that Paul wrote about was to become a dynamic that would transform lives and communities. The great tragedy of the church is that time and time again it has expediently fallen back on ritual, and while ritual can placate a community, it can never transform a life or a society. Humanity is in need of a dynamic, not rituals, and it was this dynamic of the power of God through the Holy Spirit that Paul sought to bring to the Christians in Rome. In last Wednesday's midweek meditation, I said the basis of the Christian faith is centered in a belief in Jesus Christ as the only source of a relationship with God. There is a sense in which the declaration of belief has a certain, almost inexplicable power in it, and I want to pick up on that thought today. First up, let me offer a word of explanation to my non-salvationist viewers. While today's video focuses on the Salvation Army, there is inherent in it a lesson about the power of belief. In Western culture today, the Salvation Army may well be a pale imitation of what it once was. True, it may appear successful, effective, and relational, but the reality is that it lacks the potent energy that once fueled the early Salvation Army. Somewhere along the timeline of our existence, some vital dynamic went missing. Perhaps we became too sophisticated, too influenced by other religious organisations that surround us, or we allowed too much of the influence of an unchristian culture to seep into our organisational thinking and structure. If you want to get inside the minds and ethos of early Salvationists, read the songs they wrote. The utilisation of military metaphors and military-style music marked them out as being quite distinctive from the religious music of the day. There can be no question that early Salvationists possessed something of a unique and powerful ethos, and within a couple of decades they encircled the globe. In its heyday, the Salvation Army was one of the most predominant religious movements of its time. Pioneer Salvationist Robert Johnson reflected the message of the early army in his song, "Soldiers of Our God Arise." Warriors of the risen King, great army of salvation, spread his fame, his praises sing, and conquer every nation. Raise the glorious standard higher, work for victory, never tire. Forward march with blood and fire, and win the world for Jesus. Many of these songs have fallen by the wayside in the contemporary Salvation Army. However, if we backtrack a bit and try and see what possessed and empowered these early writers, we may well recapture something of that fresh and unique energy that the early Salvation Army experienced. Perhaps our opening song from the pen of another pioneer salvationist, William Pearson, is indicative of a fairly unique mindset that was part of the early Salvation Army. All the world to save, to battle we will go, and we ever will our colours boldly show. With a trumpet voice we'll let the millions know their salvation for the world. In many of these early Salvation Army songs, there is a common theme that flows, and it can be primarily found in William Booth's song, O Boundless Salvation. In the third line, there is a key and an insight into the minds of these early Salvationists. O boundless salvation, deep ocean of love, O fullness of mercy Christ brought from above, the whole world redeeming, so rich and so free, now flowing for all men, come roll over me. His daughter, Evangeline Booth, picked up on her father's theme when she wrote, "The world for God, I give my heart, I'll do my part."
The world for God, the world for God. There's nothing else will meet the hunger of my soul. I see forsaken children, I see the tears that fall from women's eyes once merry, now never laugh at all. I see the sins and sorrows, the poor who sit in darkness. I see that far distant, the hungry and oppressed. But behold, on a hill, Calvary, the world for God, the world for God.
What are we to make of their literary and music sentiments? Some of the aspirations expressed never really eventuated. The whole world was not redeemed in William Booth's time, nor has it since. Are we to see them as largely symbolic and some sort of poignant gesture? Were they just really poor deluded souls, completely out of touch with pragmatic reality? Or could it be that these early salvationists had discovered a unique energy source unlike any other that empowered this asset-poor organisation? Those who trust God with the impossible will achieve far more than those timid souls who simply play it safe. What they intrinsically knew was that an unpretentious belief in an ideal creates a powerful and contagious energy. It was that energy that allowed the early Salvation Army to achieve incredible feats around the world. When people believe in a living God and wholeheartedly commit themselves to this God, they unleash enormous power and potential, an energy out of all proportion to the size of their organisation. Our early Salvationists had little in the way of resources in their knowledge of the Holy Spirit save the Bible. No great library of information such as we have today in books and electronic information, and no spiritual gift seminars or the like. While early Salvation Army leaders would begin to write and teach about the Holy Spirit, these pioneers had a simplistic and innate sense of his great presence and power, which energised their fledgling movement. Our history records that, empowered by the Holy Spirit, they formulated a unique mindset and achieved great feats for God. It wasn't long before the same mindset can be seen in much of the Army's brass band music, with Eric Lyonson's March The Invincible Army and Arthur Gulliger's March Unconquered being features in Salvation Army gatherings, and there are many more in the same rich vein. Understand that what I am speaking about here is not another version of Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking. That has to do with human achievement and focus. The power we seek here is beyond any human capability. It is a power that is beyond anything humanity can accomplish. It is a power that brought a dead man back to life. It is a power that is the sole possession of the Creator God. It is a power that is available to any who would serve God in the spirit of those early salvationists. Can we distill from their songs a clue, an inkling, some guidance on tapping into this power of belief? I think we can. And the words of Evangeline Booth's song may well hold the key. The world for God, the world for God. And here is the secret. I give my heart, I'll do my part. The power of belief comes from an unreserved surrender to God and a boots and all sacrificial commitment. Something of this innate spirit of sacrifice can be found in another of William Pearson's song. Come join our army, the foe we defy. True to our colours, we'll fight till we die. Saved from all sin is our war cry and song. The Salvation Army is marching along. Let me return to our previous Bible reading. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes. These early salvationists were unashamedly evangelists, totally convinced that the good news of the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ would dramatically change lives and change our world. Through their belief, they had tapped into a power that could, in essence, redeem the whole world.